This is a write-up. This step immediately follows the demonstration. It happens at your desk or at your table, and it should only begin once the buyer is seated. Now don't confuse this with the close. This step moves you closer to the close, and the write-up is full of trial closes, but at this point the customer is not closed. They haven't seen numbers yet. They know a price, but no numbers. Now rule number one for the write-up is write everybody up that you want to sell. Don't write people up that you don't want to sell. Get it? In other words, write everybody up. The more people that you write up, the more that you're going to sell. It's a fact. The write-up is where we confirm what the customer is buying, like year, make, model, color, equipment, stock number. We collect the buyer information, as in how they want it registered, phone numbers, address, email, a co-buyer. It's where we prepare information in order to put together a proposal so that people can buy. Now, even though most customers haven't said, I'll buy it, this is where we treat people like they're going to buy. If you have a customer that's trying to buy, but they want to do it over the phone, or they just want to do it over the internet, just do it over the phone or online with them. If you don't know how to do that, watch one of my other, an advanced training video, and I'll show you. But they can just buy over their computer or phone. Now, in order to do that, it's the same thing. You confirm their information, the product information, and then you send over a proposal. A proposal is an offer. Some write-ups have it built in as part of the write-up, and then with other designs, it's separate, as in a menu. An offer or a proposal shows all the numbers so a buyer can buy. Some customers will tell you prior to doing the write-up, I'm not buying today, or I'm just shopping right now, or I've got to check with my partner. But you should still write these people up and show them the figures, because that's what people need to see in order to buy. And if you have a good write-up and you've been trained the right way to do a write-up, then you're going to find out that you're going to convert a lot of the I'm not buying today people into people that'll buy right now. The write-up is to close the people that are ready to buy and to close the people that said they weren't going to buy. It converts the non-buyers into buyers. Now, if you don't present numbers, you can't close. Look, the average salesperson writes up less than 30% of the people that reached out to them. Whether the person walked in the store, called in, or went online, those same people also close half the people that they write up. So if you wanted a pay increase, wouldn't it make sense to just write more people up? I mean, you'll still close at least half the people that you write up. Think about it. If you don't write someone up, they can't see pricing, trade value, down payments, or payments, which means they never had a chance to buy. Write-ups also come in different designs, and I'm going to give you some demonstrations here in a second, but the oldest ones were called a Foursquare, and some dealerships still use them. They work. Some stores even use them, and they don't even know that they're using them. Some even use them and don't know that there's a certain way that you're supposed to use them. And yes, they were designed before our time after that old elementary school game called Foursquare. Never played it, but then there's an electronic version like Moto menus. You still write the customer up, but you can do it online, or they can use a QR code to speed it up, driver's license scanner, different options. It calculates a ton of different payment options, but you only show the buyer like 10 different payment options, which could be finance payments, lease payments, cash option too. Now, the reason for all the options is it turns the people that said they weren't buying today into, well, they'll say if you get the payments low enough, or you're throwing a helmet, or if you lower the down payment, I'll buy it right now. Yeah, it turns them into buyers. There's also some critical things that you should never do with the write-up, and I'm going to tell you about 3 of them right now. Thing number 1, failure to write somebody up. That's the biggest mistake that people make with the write-up. You want to sell something? Write somebody up. Thing number 2 that you should never do. Do not ask the customer if they'd like to write it up. Hey, you want to write it up? It's a yes/no question. Since you don't want to hear a no, then don't ask. Because every time you do ask a customer that question, the answer is going to be no. So don't ask. So thing number 3, do not call the write-up a write-up or a worksheet. These are bad luck words. Nobody has ever wanted to be written up, nor would they like to do a worksheet. Neither one is fun. The bad part of the worksheet is the word work. Those are just a couple of slang terms that you can't use around your customers. There's a ton of things that you can say, such as, let's get some figures, follow me, or let's look at some figures. Or if you really wanted to sell more, let's go over here to see some figures. You guys want something hot or cold to drink while we do this? And then take it a step further. You'd say, let's go over here to get some figures. I'm going to get something to drink for myself. What do you guys want while we wrap this up? You want something hot or cold? Now, let's change cameras and we're going to do some different write-ups. First, I think we're going to do the Foursquare. So this is the final step before your customer ever enters the business office, even though it implies as if there's only 4 parts to the Foursquare. There's actually 5. I can count on this one here, actually 7 sections on this one that I'm using. There's, however, 4 squares on the lower part of this. The customer purchase and accessory information typically goes at the top half of this, and then of this type of Foursquare. And then the 4 squares are actually down below, and they're created to help a customer and the salesperson understand some of the numbers more clearly while keeping them separated for an easier negotiation process. Now, always start at the top of the Foursquare and then make sure that you're interacting with the customer while filling this out. This is not a thing where you want silence. That's not what this is for. You do that, and then all of a sudden the customer is going to start thinking, what am I doing? Am I making a good decision? Do I like this guy? Do I like this place? Do I really want to take on this debt or take this out of my bank account? So keep the customer interacting throughout this. Once you start the write-up, also don't stop. You can't have any interruptions. Don't get up to look up the price. Make sure that you've got the price, year, make, model, stock number. You've got all that with you. Don't take a phone call, which you should not do anyway. But everything up to this point in the sales process has been emotional for the customer. Now, when you sit down and you start the write-up, it's all rational. Your customer starts rationalizing what they're doing. So you cannot stop. You can see I've got some different Foursquares on this, on my table right here. And they're real from dealerships, but I covered up some of the information so you can't see where they're from. But you can see there's a number of different types on here. But the thing is, when you look at them all, whether they have the boxes here or not, they're Foursquares. You go right down right there, that's a Foursquare. Right here, you've got the 4 boxes there. Anyway, there's a lot of different types of Foursquares. They're just a Foursquare. This is not a Foursquare. That's not a Foursquare. They're to replace it. But I'll tell you what you can see right here is this is a real one from a trainer, from a trainer in the power sports industry. This is his Foursquare. He should know better. You don't put right on their worksheet, I'm going to work you over. This is a worksheet. Why not put Foursquare? Anyway, don't do that. So this is just going to be like it's a regular easy customer right here for the sake of time and training. I'm not going to cover objections on this right now. But if you want to learn how to overcome the objections that you're going to get, and you will get some doing this, and that's okay. That's the point of this. Part of the point of this. It's to convert the shoppers, the tire kickers into buyers. It's to help close people. And but you'll have to watch advanced training on this. Anyway, let's get started. So first, I'm going to put in the date. And as I'm doing this, what is it? And I like to talk to the customer while I'm doing this. So I'd go, what's the date? And then all of a sudden they look at their watch and go, oh, it's the 15th. And this really is the 15th right now. And my name's Tommy. I do that because they probably forgot my name already. And then here I'm going to start my trial closes right now. How do you want this registered? Just in your name, or do you want somebody else on there too? If they're by themselves, if it's a couple, who wants to be on there first, you or him? And so let's say if they answer my question, that means they want to buy this. I could have just asked the customer, what's your first name? What's your legal name? Or what's the name on your driver's license? But if I do that, it doesn't mean anything. Those are not closing questions. It's just, what's your name? They're not closing questions. They're not trial closes. Every question on here is asking for a commitment to buy. Every question on here is a trial close. Every single one. So if you've worded your questions correctly, as I'm going over right now, as you fill this out and they answer your questions, you've got a buyer. If you get objections, that's okay too. That's also the point of doing this. It brings objections, concerns, and complaints up from the customer so you can figure out what it's going to take to get for them to buy. So let's say they tell me that they'll have it registered in just their name. Okay, I go, and maybe they say, yeah, John. And then you want to just common sense right there. You want to go, oh, would that be Jonathan? And they go, yeah, how do you spell that? And they tell you how to spell it. Don't have any misspellings here. Jonathan D. Doe. Okay. And let's see, what address do you want that registered at, Jonathan or John? 111 4th Street. And I hope you can see me filling this out here. But yeah, 4th Street. Make sure you put the street, not avenue or something. And, oh, that's going to be in Boise. Obviously, Idaho, 83616. And then what's your cell number, John? And they say 5555555. This is all very important. Let's see. So that's your phone number. Oh, you know what? I got it in the wrong spot. Do you have a second number, Jonathan? Nope, that's it. Don't have a work number. That's it right there. So I'll leave that right there. So what's your email address? John Doe. He spells it out to me. It's probably going to have like 38 or something there at yahoo.com. Okay, now I'm going to write down the purchase information. And this is a 2022, right? It's the OEM model XYZ, and it's red. Stock number is 665522. And then as long as the figures are right, you're planning on taking this home right now. Is that right? That's a trial close, guys. You've got to ask them, when are you going to do this? And it doesn't matter what they say. They're going to tell you what they're really thinking, the time frame they're really thinking. Now, if they say a week out, a month out, oh, I'm just kicking tires right now, ignore that stuff. Put it in your tool belt, remember it for later, because you're going to have to remember that's what they told you, and you need to overcome that. You need to figure out how you can change that. So let's say this guy says, yeah, I'll take it right now. Okay, now. And then I'm going to go down to at least 3 features, advantages, and benefits that they like. So this has the new wide ratio. What is it? That's the 8-speed gearbox. You got to touch on those things. Remind them. You're trying to decommoditize this thing right now. So 8-speed gearbox for more torque when you're going slow, when you're crawling or towing your trailer along with getting down the high speed sections at a lower RPM. It's got the new lighter weight, longer lasting lithium batteries, right? So you're reminding this person part of the reason why they're buying this thing. They might be comparing it to something else out there that's a lesser model, and remind them what they liked about this thing. So it's got the new Fox shocks, the electronic ones, with the steering wheel mounted controls. So I'm going to write that down. Just a reminder, this thing's awesome. So you can adjust your suspension while you're driving, on the fly. So you're going to trade in. Now, here I get into the 4 squares down here. Now, if there's no trade-in, you already know there's a trade-in or there is no trade-in. Let's assume here they've got a trade-in. So that's you're trading in your 2020, and it is another OEM model XYZ. And the miles on that, 26,430 miles. And that one is black. And then you have, what is it? You have, how many payments do you have left on that? Now they start thinking. Let's see, I bought it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. They're thinking, how much do I owe on that? They already know. You know what? I've got 26 payments of that. And what are those payments? They're $425 each. Okay, now you know what it's going to take. They're telling you what it's going to take to sell them on this one. Now you know. $425, and so that comes out to a payoff. Let's see, or how much? Not your payoff, but you still owe what? About payments of $11,050. We'll have to get a payoff on that if you haven't done it yet. And then the lender is ABC Bank. And then your trade has a market value of $14,000 on it right now. And let's see, do you have an extended service contract that's transferable? No? Okay. You're setting your F&I department up right there. And you're letting them know there is value in that if you have one of those. So I filled out square number 1, okay? So the selling price of this new one is $38,342. I don't say $38,342. That sounds like a lot. Now I set it on as trade over here to make it sound like it's a lot, which it is. But over here I just go $38,342, and with the lender recommended 25% cash down, that's probably going to come out to about $10,000 right there. And let's see. That means you should probably put down about an extra $6,000 because you do have some trade equity. And did you want to do that with a card, check, or cash? Okay. And so they're going to say something. Let's say they say, you know what? I'll do a card. You guys take cards? Yeah, I'll do a card. So put it on my Visa, debit. Okay. So now let's see so I did square number 3 right there, right? So now I'm going to move over to number 4. That gives you a payment range of what? $725 to about $750. And my manager is going to get you an exact amount on this. I just need your approval right here that as long as we're able to make all of this happen, you're ready to take this home right now. So I'll just have you initial right there. And then I might take it a step further and I might go, I just need your initial in each box right there. And as long as I'm able to get all this done for you, we can go ahead and get this wrapped up right now. That's a basic Foursquare. That's it. Now, if you've done it like I did there and your customer agrees to everything, you just closed your deal. Next, you go to your manager and they're going to tell you what to do next. Usually at this point, they're going to have you fill out a credit app with the buyer. Now, I'm sure that I'm leaving you with a few questions, as in, how'd you figure out their trade market value? Well, I would have completed a trade appraisal form prior to this with my customer. Then I hand it over to my sales manager before I ever do this, and my manager books it out, gets a rough idea on what it is, because when you do the trade appraisal form, there's questions on there. If you have a good one, you're going to, you unload the trade, they've got the trade there, or the trade is sitting there and you're going to do a silent walk around. But that's another training session there. But you would hand that over, the trade appraisal form, over to your manager. So they're booking it out before you ever wrote the customer up. They're all hands on deck. Everybody is getting prepared for this. And, but let's see, box number 2, it's just the selling price. And that's it. And maybe it has all your fees in there, but that's what it is. It depends on how your store wants you to do it. Box number 2, that's just the selling price. And then you go over to box number 3 there, the cash down. I just let the customer know that the lenders normally expect 25% down. Not me, not the dealership, the lenders, those dirty guys. So I just quickly do a little math in my head. Hopefully it's my head's working that day. And that's $10,000. They've got $4,000 in trade equity. I write down $6,000. I ask them how they want to handle that. I'm asking it because I want to know, where's the money? Do you have the money? If they say it's in my, I'll write a check for it. Great, you got your checkbook on you? Yeah, I'm going to do that. They say it's in savings. Okay, Great. Do you just want to transfer that over to checking or put it on your debit card? I want to know where's the money. I do not want to hear I've got to get up and go to the bank to get the money, because then that means people are a lot of the time not coming back. But they tell me how they're going to handle the money down. Next, I've got a cheat sheet with a payment schedule right over here, and I tell them the payment range. Unless I've been doing it long enough and I know I'm going to do it in my head, but I've got a payment schedule and I just do that. And normally it's based on a shorter term. I'm not going out 84 months. I'm not going out 72 months, but I'm doing shorter terms, and it's going to be higher payments. But I want to make sure that they understand what they're doing, what they're committing to. So I have them initial each box with a big old signature at the very bottom. If my customer doesn't object to anything on here, I've got a deal, subject to credit approval. And that's it. That is your Foursquare. You can do that thing. I mean, I can do that thing. You can do that thing on this right here. Break that up into 4 squares. It's a little bit different. They quote 48, 60, and 72. I definitely would not go out to 72 on my first pencil. I mean, I don't know. Look at that, $160 to $170 for this thing, for anything. That's like what, a third of my cell phone bill, a quarter of my cell phone bill. I mean, that's a cable bill or something. That's nothing. So you've got one right there. You've got one over here. 4 squares again, and they call it the customer titling info. And what? You're doing the same thing. Looks like this one, they want you to write down an interest rate, a payment, and a term. So you're going to have all different types of them. But this one right here was the Foursquare. That is about how they work. You can do it on a blank piece of paper. Yeah, I could do it on a cocktail napkin if I wanted to. But follow the instructions that your dealer wants you to do. This is how it was created to be done.